There will now be an opportunity for silent prayer or meditation. May we be seated. Thank you. Statements by members. Are there any member statements? Honorable Mlombo.
Honorable Speaker, let me take this opportunity to greet you, to greet the members of the Executive Council, to greet the members of the Provincial Legislature. Commonly, I forget to greet the Secretary of the Legislature and his team, and the members from the opposition desk. Honorable Speaker, I rise to deliver a statement on behalf of the African National Congress. The African National Congress want to state that we are disappointed, we are disgusted and flabbergasted by the racist utterances made by the pitbull racist Belida Mogo. Mrs. Meger, the owner of the JCS office support, identified after the voice note of her utterances was leaked from a WhatsApp group that she is part of. In her voice mail, she said the following: I agree with you wholeheartedly that the black men must in fact be banned. They rape, they steal, they kill worse than the pit bull, and they get away with it. Ban those black people, make laws that ban them, ban the black men, get all black women and cut them out so that they are not able to give birth to children. Honorable Speaker, it is totally unacceptable and uncalled for that woman of Maggie's age to say that after 28 years of democracy in this country of South Africa, that she can go all out and make such racist comments. We urge this August House to condemn in its entirety this comment that seeks to make South Africa a divided nation. We would also like to urge all South Africans to open cases against the Merger and all other races who share the same views of black people to open cases against them. We also urge those investigating the charges against Ms. Mogo to move swiftly and efficiently and get all the charges against her to be brought before her, as she will appear on the 27th of March 2023. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Mashilo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We definitely welcome the statement by Honorable Mlombo. South Africa is a democratic country, an equally constitutional country, a law-abiding citizen. Anyone who feels aggrieved by whoever has got the right to go to court. It gives no one rights to discriminate and make those utterances. We agree with Honorable Mlombo that we must all reject and condemn those utterances because they've got no place in this beautiful country. It was not just democracy, it was in the blood of other many people who died, like Chris Hani and many heroes, that today we are all enjoying this beautiful house. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Mahlangu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The ANC is concerned about the rapid rise in the number of COVID cases. There are fears that the numbers could further rise during the festive season. Honorable Speaker, during the first week of November 2022, COVID numbers stood at plus 6,700, and at the start of December, the numbers are at 27,900. These translate into a 400% increase. This can be attributed to the influx of people and students who are pursuing their studies in other provinces. This therefore call upon everyone to start implementing preventative measures like social distancing, vaccinating, and do regular checkups if there are flu-like symptoms. We commend the Department of Health for the recently released communique cautioning the citizens of Mbombela about the rise in COVID cases. Let us be safe, colleagues. I thank you.
Honorable Mashilo.
Thank you, Speaker. Indeed, the COVID is not finished, not gone and done. We agree with Honorable Mahlangu that must we all be cautioned. As the festive are coming closer, many people come across the world and converge, some in the beaches, some in any entertaining areas. Therefore, we must all be alert as the Mpumalanga. In particular, there are adjacent areas like Tembisile, Malahleni, Nkomazi, and all these other areas that are adjacent to other provinces. The high risk is there. Let's be all alert. Let's go and check. Let's vaccinate. We must stay alive. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Honorable Stolle.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to deliver a member statement on behalf of the Democratic Alliance. Honorable Speaker, the Mpumalanga Department of Education is responsible for over 220 students enrolled in different faculties in Russia. Over the past few months, these students have been pleading for help with everyone and anyone that can listen to them. And their pleas were falling on deaf ears as they revealed that the accommodation, tuition fees, and meal allowance were not paid. At the time that this came to the fore, the Department of Education downplayed the seriousness of the matter and even denied that our students in Russia are begging for food in the streets and have nowhere to sleep. Honorable Speaker, it is disheartening that the Mpumalanga provincial government had to spend more money sending the Honorable Premier and her delegation to Russia before this government could start grasping the magnitude of their actions and before anything could be done. Honorable Speaker, the DA welcomes the Premier's action of suspending one of the chief directors in the Department of Education in relation to this matter. It is disgusting that government officials and political principals put their children on such programs that are meant for the poor, instead of deserving children who are poor and have no means to further their education. It has become a norm that people prioritize their own children instead of the poorest of the poor to benefit from such programs, and this has been happening since the dawn of democracy. The DA calls on the MEC for Education, Bonagele Majuba, and Premier Refilwe Mthweni-Zipane to ensure that officials and politicians who colluded to enroll their children in Russia at the cost of the taxpayer pay back the money. Honorable Speaker, these officials and politicians whose children are benefiting from these programs are known to the Premier. Just a suspension is not enough, as these people gamble with the future of the children of Mpumalanga. The DA will leave no stone unturned to ensure they are held accountable for stealing not only the money, but the future of the children of this province. Money meant for the poor must be spent on the poor. I thank you.
Honorable Member, you must address Honorable Majuba as Honorable Majuba, not Bonakele Majuba. You said Bonakele Majuba.
Majuba.
I didn't hear MEC.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did say that. It is here. You must listen to the recording. I said Honorable MEC. I will never call him Bonagele Majuba. I said Honorable MEC, Bonagele Majuba, unless Bonagele is not his name. Honorable MEC, Bonagele Majuba.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Mashilo.
Okay, Ngiyabonga, Honorable Speaker. I was to agree with Honorable Sithole, but some part of a comment or statement will not agree with. Indeed, this government were for the clean governance. It is for that reason that the Premier went there to make sure that we get the correct information. Suspending a person, you still have to charge that individual because we are not guilty until we are proven to be guilty. And it must be beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. Hence, the Premier went there to make a check, and we agree with the investigation, and we want to support the approach the Premier took to suspend the individual. And if there are individuals that they still have to be suspended, arrested, we will do so. This government will clean up, so that at the end of the day, that program is meant for the poor of this province and their benefit. Anyone who doesn't belong to that program shall be dealt according to the processes that the Premier shall follow. Thank you very much.
Are there any member statements, Honorable Nyempe?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the economic freedom fighters to raise a member statement that the House take note that Dr. Pixley Isaka Seme municipality is operating without an official municipal manager. The acting municipal manager was given 4 days to act. It is a council resolution on record that the acting municipal manager is appointed from the 1st of December to the 4th of December. As from the 5th and today, there's no municipal manager. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I would like to call on the MEC of Kokta, Honorable Mandla Msibi, to intervene in the municipality and ensures it employs a municipal manager. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Msibi.
Yeah, no, thanks, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Let me greet members of the Executive Committee and all participants. Well, we take note of that. I've never heard in my life that there could be such a decision of 4 days. We are going to investigate that and respond accordingly. Thank you very much.
Honorable Weber.
Honourable Speaker, I rise to deliver a member statement on behalf of the Freedom Front Plus. The Freedom Front Plus is concerned that the Department of Health is not doing enough to combat the rise of an anti-vaccination movement in the province, and that this could have attributed to an outbreak of measles in the province. 71 confirmed cases have been recorded in South Africa between September the 1st and November the 22nd in 2022 as a result of outbreaks in the provinces of Mpumalanga and Limpopo. On the 28th of October, the Nhlanzeni district that shares a border with Limpopo was declared a measles outbreak area. 11 laboratory-confirmed measles cases have been reported in Mpumalanga, 9 from Nhlanzeni, 1 from Gersibande, and 1 from Nkangala. 3 of the cases' vaccinated histories were unknown, and 5 did not receive any measles vaccine doses. The ages of the patients in Nhlanzeni aged from 18 months to 10 years. vaccinated children and pregnant women are at highest risk of measles and its complications, including death. Any non-immune person who has not been vaccinated or was vaccinated but did not develop immunity can become infected. The government must up its awareness campaign, including routine measles vaccination for children and mass immunization campaigns in areas with high rates of measles, of cases and death rates, as these are key public health strategies to reduce measles deaths. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Mashilo.
No, thanks, Speaker. We agree with Honorable Weber. We must do the awareness. However, this responsibility lies to all of us, political parties that are here in this August House, and all the leaders of the society. Because this is an outbreak that has just happened recently, and certainly the Department of Health is doing their utmost best to find solution and combat this. At the moment, the outbreak will always need all of us to be together in making sure that we vaccinate. Hence, we said even COVID, we must still have to vaccinate and get some jab so that we can combat and run away from these diseases. Thank you very much.
Executive statements. I am informed that there are no executive statements. Motions without notice. Are there any motions without notice? Honorable Mlombo.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise on behalf of the African National Congress to move a motion without notice. I, Fana Vincent Mlombo, the Chief Whip of the Majority Party, move a motion without notice that the House, number 1, should note that the Portfolio Committee's report on the Mpumalanga Adjustment Appropriation Bill, Bill 3 of 2002, shall be tabled during today's sitting by the Portfolio Committee on Premier's Office, Finance, Economic Development and Tourism for consideration by this August House. I further move, Honorable Speaker, that the House should note that Rule 192, Sub-Rule 2 of the Rules and Orders of the Legislature provides that, I quote, the Speaker must allow for the committee's report to be debated in the legislature by some members from the relevant portfolio committee in accordance with the Speaker's list, close quote. I therefore move that the House adopts a resolution in terms of Rule 4, Sub-Rule 1, to suspend the provision of Rule 192, Sub-Rule 2, and that the report of the above-mentioned Portfolio Committee not be debated during today's sitting. Honorable Speaker, I so move. Thank you very much.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion agreed to. Honorable Nkabela.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I would like to amend on what the Chief Whip has just read to us now. We note and support the proposal by him on condition that we don't debate both HIV and the disability debates as well. Thank you.
Honorable Mlombo.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. From our side, from our desk, we have consulted and we have also legally consulted. If the House agrees, we do not have a problem. Both debates can be suspended. We understand it's festive season. Thank you very much.
The motion is agreed to. Honorable Makarenge.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to move a motion without notice for this House on behalf of the African National Congress to applaud the Department of Community Safety and Liaison for the job well done in arresting 8 people in connection with tender fraud in the construction sector within the city of Cape Town. Noting that amongst these criminals are DA officials and directors at local business, elite painters and decorators. These arrests were concluded after complaints of fraud and corruption was reported. The crimes include inflation of invoices, irregular payments of service providers for the construction work not undertaken, and other illicit activities. Honorable Speaker, I move that this House congratulates our law enforcement agencies for swiftly arresting these culprits and brought them behind bars where they belong. We urge all law enforcement to continue fighting corruption that deprived our poor people of proper services. I so move.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion agreed to. The motion is defeated. Are there any motion without notice? Honorable Morgan.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the Democratic Alliance to deliver a motion without notice. Noting that there is a serious need for effective and visible policing in our province as the number and the severity of vehicle accident is increasing with each day passing by. Taking a look at this past week alone, we tragically lost around 19 lives on our roads across the province. I find it extremely concerning that just last Sunday, 10 people lost their lives in 2 separate accidents, one of which occurred on the N4 between Middelburg and Malahleni, which resulted in the loss of 6 people, and the other occurred towards Malalan. This weekend, a further 9 people lost their lives when a light delivery vehicle and a sedan collided on the R35 between Mochenzone and Amersfoort. Honorable Speaker, such cannot be deemed acceptable, and going into our festive period, which will see an increase in traffic across the province and the related accidents, I call on this House to, firstly, to pass our condolences to the families of those who lost their lives on our roads in the province. Secondly, to develop a strategy to reduce accidents and the loss of lives during this festive period, and to increase police visibility. I so move.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion agreed to. As so agreed. Are there any motions without notice? Honorable Mkabela.
Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the Economic Freedom Fighters to deliver a motion without notice that the Economic Freedom Fighters has noted with disgust the display conducted by the ANC-led government wherein it tried to buy votes from the people of Mkondo using state resources. This also happened in Mkomazi Ward 4 where there were by-elections and the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker chose strictly that ward to donate sewing machines under the gist of the Speaker's legacy and did not go to any other wards. The same modus operandi was at play in Mkondo where the Department of Agriculture and other departments wanted to bring services that did not even belong under their jurisdiction simply because there are by-elections coming. I am happy to announce, Honorable Speaker, that the EFF was able to intercept these corrupt activities and were able to stop certain corrupt programs earmarked from Mkondo. It is embarrassing, Madam Speaker, that while communities and our people are languishing in poverty, there are means to help them, but government simply chose to ignore them until there are elections on the way. It is typical of the ANC to pull such stunts during election time to buy votes using state resources. But for as long as the EFF is still here, we will ensure that we put brakes onto this corruption vehicle. In as much as we want our people to receive better and quality services, but we believe that such services must be spread across equally and without any corruption. I so move.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion. Agreed to. The motion is defeated. Is there any motion without notice? Honorable Shongwe.
Honorable Speaker, can I be protected from Honorable Mkabe? Honorable Speaker, I rise to deliver a motion without notice on the vandalism of Chris Hani Monument at Bosbeck on the 6th of December 2022. Honorable Speaker, the African National Congress is deeply saddened by the vandalism and desecration of the Chris Hani Monument that is located at the Thomas Nkobi Memorial Garden in Boksburg in the city of Ekurhuleni. Noting that the monument comprised of Chris Hani's gravesite, the Chris Hani's Memorial, and the Walk of Remembrance are a commemoration of his life, work, and sacrifices in contribution to a free and democratic South Africa. A South Africa that he fearlessly fought hard for, but did not live long enough to see, as he was brutally assassinated on the 10th of April 1993, just a year before the country held its first democratic elections by the Polish immigrant Janusz Walus. Further noting that the vandalism of this monument is devastating, especially as it occurs at a very difficult moment in our history, where Chris Hani's assassin, Janusz Walus, was said to be free, released from prison following the anonymous decision by the Constitutional Court to grant him parole. We call on the law enforcement agencies to swiftly pursue those responsible for this atrocious act of vandalism, as this is not simply a case of destruction, but a destruction of our protected national heritage that serves as both as a site of memory and a resource for the preservation of an important component of our country's liberation history. I so move.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion. Agreed to? As so agreed. Notices of motion. Are there notices of motion? Honorable Bise.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My hand has been up for quite some time. I'm sure you didn't notice. Honorable Speaker, singumbutho ANC sitsanza kuhalalisela sinenhlanhla sinekhaya mnisi.
On which one, Honorable Member, you want to speak to?
It is a statement, Honorable Speaker.
In terms of the rules, only 5 statements are allowed. And also in terms of the motions, only 5 are allowed. Honorable members, are there notices of motions? Formal motions? I am informed that there are no formal motions. Orders of the day. The Secretary shall read the first order of the day.
Order number 1.
Honorable members, can you please conduct yourself in a manner that you are supposed to conduct yourself. The Secretary shall read the first order of the day.
Order number 1, consideration of a report of the Portfolio Committee on Premier's Office, Finance, Economic Development and Tourism on the Mpumalanga Adjustments Appropriation Bill, B3 of 2022. Second reading, Mpumalanga Adjustments Appropriation Bill, B3 of 2022.
I now call upon the Honorable T.M. Makaringa, the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Premier's Office, Finance, Economic Development and Tourism, to table the report on the Mpumalanga Adjustment Appropriation Bill 2022.
Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the Portfolio Committee to table the report on Mpumalanga Appropriation Bill for the consideration and adoption by the House.
In terms of Rule 192, Sub-Rule 5, I shall now go through the Mpumalanga Adjustment Appropriation Bill 2022, vote by vote. Vote 1, Office of the Premier Adjusted Budget 2022-2023. The budget of the Office of the Premier remained the same at 377,826,000 rand. Be approved by the House. Those who say yes to show by raise of hands. Thank you. Those who say no to show by raising hands. Vote 2, Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature Adjusted Budget 2022-2023. The budget of the Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature increased from 371,838,000 rand to 412,760,000 rand be approved by the House. Those who say yes to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Those who say no to show by raising their hands. Vote 3. Provincial Treasury Adjusted Budget 2022-2023. The budget of the Provincial Treasury decreased from 566,548,000 rand to 491,548,000 rand be approved by the House. Those who say yes to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Those who say no to show by raising their hands. Vote 4. Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Adjusted Budget 2022-2023. The budget of the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs increased from 690,284,000 rand to 754,477,000 rand be approved by the House. Those who say yes to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Those who say no to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Vote 5. Agriculture, Rural Development, Land and Environmental Affairs Adjusted Budget 2022-2023. The budget of the Department of Agriculture, Rural Development, Land and Environmental Affairs increased from 1,289,000,000 to 1,338,000,000 be approved by the House. Those who say yes to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Those who say no to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Vote 6. Economic Development and Tourism Adjusted Budget 2022-2023. The budget of the Department of Economic Development and Tourism decreased from 1,743,847,000 rand to 1,633,847,000 rand be approved by the House. Those who say yes to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Those who say no to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Vote 7. Education. Adjusted Budget 2022-2023. The budget of the Department of Education increased from 24,273,229,000 rand to 24,863,210,000 rand be approved by the House. Those who say yes to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Those who say no to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Vote 8. Public Works, Roads and Transport Adjusted Budget 2022-2023. The budget of the Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport increased from 4,993,301,000 rand to 5,085,851,000 rand be approved by the House. Those who say yes to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Those who say no to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Vote 9. Community Safety, Security and Liaison Adjusted Budget 2022-2023. The budget of the Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison increased from 1,584,323,000 rand to 1,698,628,000 rand be approved by the House. Those who say yes to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Those who say no to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Vote 10. Health. Adjusted Budget 2022-2023. The budget of the Department of Health increased from 16,824,794,000 rand to 17,220,786,000 rand be approved by the House. Those who say yes to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Those who say no to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Vote 11. Culture, Sport and Recreation Adjusted Budget 2022-2023. The budget of the Department of Culture, Sport and Recreation increased from 604,141,000 rand to 638,547,000 rand be approved by the House. Those who say yes to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Those who say no to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Vote 12. Social Development Adjusted Budget 2022-2023. The budget of the Department of Social Development decreased from 1,616,230,000 rand to 1,596,940,000 rand be approved by the House. Those who say yes to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Those who say no to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Vote 13. Human settlements. Adjusted budget 2022-2023. The Department of Human Settlements budget increase from 1,506,885,000 rand to 1,594,251,000 rand be approved by the House. Those who say yes to show by raising their hands. Thank you. Those who say no to show by raising their hands. Thank you. That an adjusted budget of 1,264,425,000 rand be approved by the House. Agreed to. Furthermore, do we agree to adopt the report of the Portfolio Committee on Premier's Office, Finance, Economic Development and Tourism as tabled by Honorable T.M. Makaringe? Agreed to. So agreed. The Secretary shall read the second order of the day.
Order number 2, third reading, short title, Mpumalanga Adjustments Appropriation Act 2022.
Will not entertain the third order and the fourth order as tabled in the motion. Will request the Secretary to read the fifth order of the day.
Order number 5, consideration of reports of the Select Committee on Legislature Oversight. 5.1, Annual Performance Report for 2021-22 financial year, Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature. 5.2, Second Quarterly Performance Report for 2022-23 financial year, Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature.
I now call upon the Chairperson of the Select Committee on Legislature Oversight, Honorable F.V. Mlombo, to table the reports.
Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the Select Committee to table the two reports for acceptance by the House. Thank you.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt these reports as tabled by Honorable Mlombo. Agreed to. As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the sixth order of the day.
Order number 6, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Education, Culture, Sports and Recreation. 6.1, Second Quarterly Performance Report for 2022-23 financial year, Department of Education. 6.2, Second Quarterly Performance Report for 2022-23 financial year, Department of Culture, Sports and Recreation. 6.3, Second Quarterly Performance Report for 2022-23 financial year, Mpumalanga Regional Training Trust. 6.4, Annual Performance Report for 21-22 financial year, Department of Education. 6.5, Annual Performance Report for 21-22 financial year, Department of Culture, Sports and Recreation. 6.6, Annual Performance Report for 21-22 financial year, Mpumalanga Regional Training Trust. 6.7, Report on meeting held with the language structures of Pan South African Language Board in Mpumalanga Province.
I now call upon the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Education, Culture, Sport and Recreation, Honorable G.P. Mashego, to table the reports.
Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Education, Culture, Sports and Recreation to request the August House to adopt the report.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the reports as tabled by Honorable G.P. Mashego. Agreed to. As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the seventh order of the day.
Order number 7, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Health and Social Development. 7.1, second quarterly performance report for 2022-23 financial year, Department of Health. 7.2, second quarterly performance report for 2022 financial year, 23 financial year, Department of Social Development. 7.3, annual performance report for 21-22 financial year, Department of Health. 7.4, annual performance report for 2021-22 financial year, Department of Social Development.
We have received the apology from the Honorable Ngomane, and Honorable Mlombo will stand in for Honorable Ngomane. I will now call upon the Honorable Mlombo on behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Health and Social Development to table this report.
Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the Portfolio Committee to table the report for adoption by the House. Thank you.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt these reports as tabled by Honorable Mlombo on behalf of the Portfolio Committee. Agreed to? As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the 8th order of the day.
Order number 8, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Human Settlements, Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. 8.1, second quarterly performance report for 2022-23 financial year, Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. 8.2, second quarterly performance report for 2022-23 financial year, Department of Human Settlements. 8.3, annual performance report for 2021-22 financial year, Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. 8.4, annual performance report for 2021-22 financial year, Department of Human Settlements. 8.5, Section 47, Consolidated Annual Municipal Performance Report for 2020-21 financial year, Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs.
I now call upon the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Human Settlements, Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Honorable GC Shabalala, to table the reports.
Ngibonge somlomo lohloniphekile ngisukuma ngokuthi thoba kucela indlu lehloniphekile kuthi yamukele okanye ivume lemibiko njengaloku ifunziwe. Ngiyabonga.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the reports as tabled by Honorable GC Shabalala. Agreed to? As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the 9th order of the day.
Order number 9, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture, Rural Development, Land and Environmental Affairs. 9.1, second quarterly performance report for 2022-23 financial year, Department of Agriculture, Rural Development, Land and Environmental Affairs. 9.2, annual performance report for 2021-22 financial year, Department of Agriculture, Rural Development, Land and Environmental Affairs. 9.3, oversight visits to Matsamo Communal Property Association at Nkomazi Local Municipality, Department of Agriculture, Rural Development, Land and Environmental Affairs.
I now call upon the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture, Rural Development, Land and Environmental Affairs, Honorable BM Lubisi, to table these reports.
Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture, Rural Development and Land Environmental Affairs, I table this report before the House. Thank you.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the reports as tabled by Honorable Lubisi. Agreed to? As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the 10th order of the day.
Order number 10, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Public Works, Roads and Transport, Community Safety, Security and Liaison. 10.1, Second quarterly performance report for 2022-23 financial year, Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison. 10.2, second quarterly performance report for 2022-23 financial year, Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport. 10.3, annual performance report for 2021-22 financial year, Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison. 10.4, annual performance report for 2021-22 financial year, Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport.
I now call upon the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Public Works, Roads and Transport, Community Safety, Security, Liaison, Honorable N. Matlangu, to table these reports.
On behalf of the Portfolio Committee, I rise to request the House to adopt the report.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the reports as tabled by Honorable Matlangu. Agreed to? As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the 11th order of the day.
Order number 11, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Premier's Office, Finance, Economic Development and Tourism. 11.1, second quarterly performance report for 2022-23 financial year, Department of Economic Development and Tourism. 11.2, second quarterly performance report for 2022-23 financial year, Provincial Treasury. 11.3, second quarterly performance report for 2022-23 financial year, Office of the Premier. 11.4, second quarterly performance report for 2022-23 financial year, Mpumalanga Tourism and Parks Agency. 11.5, second quarterly performance report for 2022-23 financial year, Mpumalanga Economic Growth Agency. 11.6, second quarterly performance report for 2022-23 financial year, Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. 11.7, annual performance report for 2021-22 financial year, Department of Economic Development and Tourism. 11.8, annual performance report for 2021-22 financial year, Office of the Premier. 11.9, annual performance report for 2021-22 financial year, Provincial Treasury. 11.10, annual performance report for 2021-22 financial year, Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. 11.11, annual performance report for 2021-22 financial year, Mpumalanga Tourism and Parks Agency. 11.12, annual performance report for 2021-22 financial year, Mpumalanga Economic Growth Agency. 11.13, Division of Revenue Amendment Bill B22 of 2022.
I now call upon the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Premier's Office, Finance, Economic Development and Tourism, Honorable T.M. Makarenge, to table the reports.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise on behalf of the Portfolio Committee again to table the report for consideration and adoption.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the reports as tabled by Honorable Makarenge. Agreed to? As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the 12th order of the day.
Order number 12, consideration of reports of the Select Committee on Public Accounts. 12.1, 2019-20 assessment of Section 131B of the Municipal Finance Management Act, number 56 of 2003 of the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, vote for. 12.2, condonation request of unauthorized expenditure by the Department of Health for financial periods 2008-9, 2010-11, 2013-14, and 2014-15.
We have received the apology from the Honorable Mkachwa, and Honorable Mlombo will stand in on behalf of the Select Committee. I will now call upon the Honorable Mlombo to table the reports.
Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Select Committee, I want to present the report for adoption by this August House. Thank you.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the reports as tabled by Honorable Mlombo. Agreed to? As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the 13th order of the day.
Order number 13, ratification of a mandate.
I now call upon the Chief Whip of the Majority Party, Honorable F.V. Mlombo, to table the mandate.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. In terms of Section 65 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, provincial legislatures are required to confer authority on their delegates in the National Council of Provinces to cast votes on their behalf. I, Fana Vincent Mlombo, the Chief Whip of the Majority Party in the Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature, hereby move in accordance with Section 65 of the Constitution, read together with Rule 201, Sub-Rule 7 of our Rules and Orders, that the House ratifies and confirms the final mandate to vote in favor of the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, Bill 22 of 2022, which was conferred on behalf of the Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature by the Speaker on the 22nd of November 2022, pursuant to the recommendation of the Portfolio Committee on Premier's Office, Finance, Economic Development and Tourism. Honorable Speaker, I so move.
Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the mandate as tabled by Honorable Mlombo. Agreed to? As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the 14th order of the day.
Order number 14, farewell messages by political parties.
I have a speaker's list in front of me. I will now call upon the Honorable Weber from the Freedom Front Plus, and you are given 5 minutes.
Madam Speaker, last week on the 29th of November, it was exactly 50 years ago that I was elected as a Member of Parliament in Cape Town. I've been in active politics for 50 years. I've seen it all. I've experienced the government, the white government, the apartheid government. I've experienced the change into democratic dispensation. I've seen it all. I came to this House as a member of this House to be a member representing a different policy. I'm the only party I'm representing, the only party who disagrees with the government in principle. I'm the only real opposition party because I disagree with the opposition, with the governing party. And had my party had the opportunity to decide about the budget, it would have budgeted completely different. Therefore, I voted against everything because I disagree with what you're doing. But I came here, Madam Speaker, to put a well-reasoned argument respectfully on the table. I want to disagree with you, but I want to disagree with you respectfully. Now, when I came here in my first speech, I said 3 things which I want to repeat, and I've already repeated them in the past. First of all, I am not the enemy of the black people. I grew up with black people. Until I was 4 years old, I could only speak Zulu. That's why I address this House in Zulu, so that you can understand it, because I do not believe that you really understand exactly what I say when I speak to you in English, because my English is not up to standard in any case. Now, Madam Speaker, the next thing I said, that I want the Premier to succeed. I want her to solve the problems. And the only way that I saw at that time to solve the problems was that it was her role to unite us in our diversity. I believe that the problems that we have in these problems, and I want to mention them, first of all, the local municipalities. I do not believe that the governing party can solve these problems. I do not believe that even if my party would take over the municipalities, my party would be able to solve these problems. I believe that we can only do that if we can do it together. I do not agree with AfriForum who wants to take over the functions of the municipality. I don't agree with that. I believe that the only way that we can solve the problems in this problem if we do it as Team Mpumalanga. We must unite all the forces, all the resources that we have. We must combine these forces and do it together. Then we have a chance to succeed. I see the infrastructure in our province, it's imploding. The only way that we can succeed is if we use all the resources that are available to us to solve these problems. If we unite our forces, then we have a chance to succeed. Now, I want to say in no uncertain terms, I believe that the Premier has succeeded in one respect. We are united in our diversity. I believe that we are not enemies. We disagree. I disagree with you on policy and of principle, but I'm not your enemy. I recall this week, the party that is furthest removed from my party's principle is the EFF. When I met with Honorable Mkabela, I was overjoyed to see her. I think she was also joyed to see me, because we are not enemies. I can say here in no uncertain terms, the leader of the House is my friend. Honorable Mhlophe is my friend. Honorable Shongwe is my friend. Now, on that note, I want to say in no uncertain terms, I wish you a wonderful festive season. I believe that if we come here, we will be united more than ever before, and we will solve the problems in our province. We will do it as Team Mpumalanga. I thank you.
You've got only selected friends, Honorable Weber. I will now call upon the Honorable Sithole, and you are given 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. It is truly an honor to be part of the Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature. The role that has been given to us by those who voted for us to represent them here, all of us take it seriously. I've been serving in this legislature from 2014, and every year I say the same thing, and I'm going to repeat it again. We are not enemies. We are political opponents. We differ in ideology, and that is why we are sitting on opposite sides. And many of my colleagues have realized what I mean when I say we are here to represent the voters that voted for us, and I will represent them without any fear or favor. But okusalayo, we are not enemies and will never be. Our political ideology is different. That is why when voters go to the polls, they choose a political ideology that they align themselves with. And I just want to thank my colleagues, all of you sitting here, for the way we work in our committees, for the way we work in this legislature. I think it's one of the legislatures that is very respectable. We see on TV in other legislatures people pulling one another with, I don't have to say because you see it every day. And I'm not talking about parliament, I'm talking about legislatures where we've seen them pulling each other, their clothes on the floor, blood on the floor. I have a lot of respect for you guys sitting here because that is not Mpumalanga. We are here to build this province, and when we stand up, all of us have got the best interest of this province at heart. I would also like to say, while you are taking this rest, spend time with your loved ones. This job takes us away from families, all of you. There is no one that can say, I have maximum time with my family. Let's use this time to recharge, to rebuild, to re-energize ourselves, because we know 2023 is going to be even harder. We are moving into 2024, and we know we're going to be vying for the same a kind of a campaigns for the same votes. It is a political landscape in our province, which we respect very much. We're going to meet each other in the streets. My farewell speech next year, I'm going to be saying to you that, we're going to meet each other in the streets, because 2024, we won't even see each other here, because we're going to be out there in the streets doing what we are elected to do. And that is what we also appreciate about this. I would also like to thank my colleagues, Bosman and Trudy. Okay, I'll call them, as Honorable Speaker will call me to order, Honorable Krobler and Honorable Morgan. The DA wouldn't be what it is in this legislature if it wasn't for you. The DA owes you a great deal of gratitude for the work that you are doing in this legislature in holding the executive to account. And I cannot forget one staff member from the DA that's keeping the lights for the DA burning in this legislature. Ashley, she's not here, but you are the reason we exist. You are the wind beneath our wings. I cannot forget you. And I would also like to thank the staff of this legislature that work day and night to make sure that the committees succeed, to make sure that we succeed where we go, to make sure that we do our oversight, to make sure that our work is moving. They are doing a job that we cannot do, and we appreciate what they are doing. Many of them are not here today, but we really need to thank them as well. And colleagues, I'm going to repeat this for the last time as I take my seat, that the DA will continue to hold you accountable. The DA will continue to hold the executive accountable without any fear or favor. Thank you very much.
Honorable Mkabela, you are given 5 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, this year, just like the past 2 years, has also been a difficult one filled with lots of pain, anguish and sorrow simply because of the trail of disaster caused by the recent outbreak of COVID-19. This pandemic has sadly turned our lives upside down, making our work as the legislature extremely impossible. Madam Speaker, as we slowly move out of the danger and Parliament and legislature regularly convene to pass laws and debate issues affecting our people, I would like to commend this House, the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker for showing professionalism when conducting official business of the House. Honorable Speaker, I know that as an opposition, we are viewed and expected to always oppose just about anything the ruling party says, but I want to make it categorically clear today that we do not just oppose for the sake of opposing, but ours is to keep the ruling party on their toes. We believe and are of a view that in this House, there are really no political parties, but one team made up of different players from different teams. Together, we are like Bafana Bafana or the Springboks, fighting for one purpose and one goal, which is to improve the lives of our people out there. When we oppose or critique you and your departments, it doesn't mean that we hate you, but simply means that we care and we want you to do more, and we expect you to take this as constructive criticism. We are really not enemies here, we just sit on opposing benches. Honorable Speaker, since our arrival in this House, our overwhelming ideal has always been to help establish a non-racial democratic state, help create employment and fight poverty and inequalities, and above all, oversee the return of land to our people without compensation. Allow me, Honorable Speaker, to say that since our existence in this House, we have learned an enormous amount of, and we have developed enormously in this regard. Honorable Speaker, a farewell speech such as this one is also an opportunity not simply to goodbye, but also to say thank you to all honorable members, starting from the ruling party to the EFF, the DA, and the Freedom Front Plus for making this House a house where we deliberate on issues facing our country and people. We have worked very closely with the chief whips of all parties. Honorable Speaker, allow me to also personally thank our leader from my own party, Honorable MC Sedibe, in absentia, for his many teachings and advices and for always believing in us. Honorable Nyembe and Honorable Zandamela, I thank you also. We are hopeful and adamant that under his leadership, the best of EFF is yet to come, and come 2024, the EFF shall be sitting in those rolling benches. To all the members of our caucus, for whom I have the greatest respect, thank you very much indeed. To the chief whips of all the parties represented here, thank you. It is always a remarkable privilege to serve our people in this house. Honorable Speaker, as I close, I want to take this opportunity and wish everyone of you safe and blessed holidays. Nani bokujabula ngamanzi akamponjwana. Newanathe kahle lengaphandle. Sifuna ukuthi January, February masivula la sinithole niphelele nikhona. Ayifambeni yawisa nabatsongwana kaya na family ta hina hinkwato. Na cancer.
Honorable Mlombo, you are given 5 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, I think that when we leave here and go through that door to go and enjoy our holidays, we should do so with pride. We should do so with our heads held high, because under the prevailing conditions, we have done our best. We have done what is humanly possible to deliver a better life to the people of Mpumalanga. The people of Mpumalanga expect us to provide shelter above the heads of those who do not have shelter. We have tried our level best to provide that shelter. The people of Mpumalanga expect us to create jobs, especially for the youth. We have done our level best. We have pushed the Premier to introduce a special initiative to ensure that the youth of this province are being taken care of. The people of Mpumalanga expect us to ensure that those who are orphaned, who do not have parents and so on, are being taken care of. We have done our best through the Department of Social Development to ensure that those orphans and those widowed ladies in Mpumalanga are being taken care of. It is against that background that I want to say thank you. Thank you to the members of the executive who have worked so hard throughout the year. We have seen them from the length and the breadth of this province. Thank you to the members of the provincial legislature who have worked very hard in order to ensure that they keep the executive accountable so as to deliver a better life to our people. Thank you to the members of the opposition, because although we could not see things together, but we understood that our mission as honorable members elected from different parties to come and serve in this legislature, we knew that even if we differ in ideologies, but when we are here in the House, we need to push the agenda of making the lives of the people of Mpumalanga to be better. We knew that when we go to committees, even when we differ in terms of ideology, but at the center of it all is that we must do everything possible to make the lives of the people to be better. And I want to repeat again the words that Honorable Weber always says, that we are not enemies here. We are just members from different opposition parties. We are all here to work for the good of mankind. But lastly, I think we must thank our staff members from the different departments, from the Office of the Premier, the Office of the different chief whips from the different political parties, who have made it possible for us to be able to execute our responsibilities and be able to sort of ensure that our vision is in fact realized. As we leave today, let me take this opportunity to wish you all the best. Go and enjoy with your families. Go and give the best of time to your families, because we do not have time with our families. These few weeks that we will be on constituency period and holiday, please go and make sure that you give your families the attention that they deserve. I want to wish you all the best for the festive season, a Merry Christmas, and a successful 2023. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
That concludes the presentation on the foul messages. That brings us to the end of today's business. You are all requested to remain standing at your places until the procession has left the chamber. The House is prorogued.